Hello everyone. I have been playing Shenzhen I a little bit, and I think that's how you pronounce the name, but I'm probably wrong. So this is a quite nice game. It's like a toy circuit builder with tiny chips and tiny boards, and I have been playing it a little, and I'm at this level called prototyping new ideas. It's basically an empty level with no particular goal other than just help us get acquainted with the new chips and build a game out of it. And that's what I did. I have built a small, like endless runner type of game. First, let me show you how it plays. So you basically move around and avoid or dodge the obstacles, and each time you do, you get a point, then it gets faster, and if you collide with an obstacle, you lose. Or rather end the game, and then the circuit breaks and your point is displayed at the bottom. The circuit breaks, so I have to reset the game to play it again, but that's okay for this little tiny game. So yes, let me show you how it works. First of all, at this bottom we have this custom screen. And this custom screen works by loading a PNG image, and in this PNG image each non-white pixel will begin a segment, and each connected non-white pixels to that original pixel will count as a whole segment. So here it goes from top left to right to bottom to top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, in that order. So here we have this segment 1 here, and every pixel connected to it is a single segment, and it goes like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And this is nice because I can increment it by orders of multitudes of 3, so it's easier calculations. And we have the following blocks here drawn, and at the bottom we have our little guy, and on the right we have two texts, one saying game over, the other one saying turbo. And normally they would be counted as separate segments, but I have connected them with a faint gray, very light gray. In RGB it's like 254, 254, 254. So the game counts this as a signal segment. Yes, and at the top we have a 7 segment display that goes from minus 199 to plus 199, and that's the UI of the game. So let's look at the tiny chips here. Let's begin with this one. This one is basically a helper chip to the bottom chip, and what it does, this one is basically looking at the score at each time step, and then notifies the bottom chip that how much a block should move at a single step. So it begins with 3, so at each time step it moves 3, but when the score hits 10, it begins moving or notifies that chip that it should move blocks by 6. And of course this enables the turbo mode text on the display. And the bottom chip here reads from the read-only memory. This is like a 14 values of randomized by hand from 1 to 3. So this is like a random number generator, but it doesn't generate, it only reads these values, then loops again. And it looks at this, begins a column, and increments it from the value it got from the upper chip. And then if it's at the bottom here, it basically goes back, it deletes, removes that segment, or erases rather, and then starts a new one. And each time step it draws it and also notifies here, as you can see here, it notifies this chip about the position of the block that's being currently drawn on the screen. And this one is a collision detection, very crude one. It looks at the upper chip's value, that's the player position, and the block position from this wire, bus actually, and then checks if it's it will how should I say it will occur a collision here, and if it will occur a collision, it's game over, and if it's not, then it notifies this score chip that if the block has been avoided, it should increment the score by 1. So that's basically what this chip does, and the tiny chip on top of it is the player controller. It gets its input from this chip here, and this chip is a built-in chip. It looks at the keyboard inputs, and I have used A and D values here, and if A or D is pressed, then it increments or decrements the player position, and of course clamps it in that 22 to 24 range. Then notifies the chip below, of course, so this can make detections. And this is the tiny little game I have made in Shenzhen I. I quite like this game. Zachtronics have made a really nice game out of this, like a toy circuit building thing here. Yeah, thank you for watching.